Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as part of this series, we are creating one full stack application, right, in which we are using the Spring Boot for our backend. We are using React for the front end, right, and we are also learning how to create the REST APIs and all that stuff, right. So as part of our lecture 1, we have written the simple Spring Boot application code, right, and we have created this post mapping as part of our last lecture. Okay, so using this http post request, we were able to send the data. Okay, so if I just click on this send button, so you see that status is 201 created, and if I just run this query, so we were able to send the data to our db, right, as part of our first lecture. Okay, so now in this lecture I am going to show you how to delete the data using REST APIs, how to update the data using REST APIs, right, all that stuff, how to get the data, okay, which is there in our db. So all that stuff we are going to do as part of this lecture. Okay, so before starting, let me just give you a quick recap, okay, of what we did in lecture 1. So if you guys want, you can skip a few minutes, okay, here. So as part of our lecture 1, we have created a entity, right. So what is entity? Entity, it is nothing but it represents a table in your database. Okay, so see, we have created this employee table with all these columns: id, first name, last name, email. Okay, and then after that we have created a employee repository interface. Okay, so this is nothing but an interface which is responsible for data access. Okay, so it typically extends the Spring Data JPA repository, right. And then after that we have created the service. Okay, so what is this service? Okay, so a service class contains the business logic of your application. It is a layer between the controller and the repository. Okay, and then we have created the DTOs. Okay, so DTO is nothing but a data transfer object. Okay, so DTO is an object that carries the data between processes. Okay, so it is used to transfer the data from the client to the server or vice versa. Okay, without exposing the internal structure of the entities. Okay, so DTO helps in controlling what data should be exposed and how it should be formatted. Okay, all that stuff. So also we have created this mapping. Okay, so mapping is nothing but it is used to uh, convert the data between the just it is used to convert between different object types, typically between entities and DTOs. Okay, so it is nothing but it is a utility class or interface, you can say, right. And then we have created this employee controller. Okay, so what is this controller? So a controller, it is going to handle the HTTP requests and responses. Okay, so it acts as an entry point for the client to interact with the application. Okay, so that's what we did as part of our lecture 1. Okay, so now let's move forward and let's create one get mapping here. Okay, so here just write. So now I want to access uh, all the data from my db, from my table. Okay, so I want to access the different users. Okay, what are their email IDs, what are their first name, last name. Okay, all that stuff I want to access using the get method. Okay, get mapping. Okay, so here I'm just going to write get and mapping. Okay, and inside this we are going to get one list. Okay, list of employees. So here I'm just going to write public and response entity. Okay, and inside this what we are going to get, we are going to get the list, and from where we are going to access the list, we are going to get the list from the employee DTO. Okay, so here I'm going to just give this, and I'm going to call this method get all employees. Get all employees. Okay, this is going to be my method. Okay, so if I just call this method, it is going to give me the list of all methods. Okay, so inside this what I'm going to do, uh, yeah, you can just click alt plus enter here, so it is automatically going to import this list package. Okay, so inside this what you need to do here, you have to create uh, let's name our list. Okay, list in which we are getting the data of employee DTO type. Okay, so here inside this let's name it as all employees. Okay, all employees. Okay, and this you can say that it is nothing but a data type. Okay, return type. Okay, so we are getting the data in employee DTO format. Okay, so here what we need to do, here just write, we have to interact with the our service, right. service layer. So here I'm writing employee service, and inside this employee service I'm going to call this method, okay, get all employees. Okay, so right now we haven't defined this method there. Okay, so once this is done, then from this we are just going to return a new response entity, and inside this what we are going to return, we are going to return all employees. And here I am just going to say that my http status okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is what we need to do here. Now let's define this method in the service layer. Okay, so let's go to this employee service. Okay, so here I'm just going to define that we are going to use this method, and then I'm going to implement this method in the em employee service implementation class. Okay, so right now I am inside this employee service interface. Okay, so in this employee service interface I'm just going to define that I'm going to use this method. Okay, so here just what I'm going to do, I'm going to write public, and here we need list of all the employees, right? So employee dto. Okay, and here let's name the method as get all employees. Okay. Okay, so this is done. So I have imported this. Now I have to define this. So where I'm going to define this, I'm going to define this in employee service implementation. Okay, so last time we have created this method, right, create a new employee. So I have defined that in employee service implementation. Okay, this class. So same way I'm going to define this get all employees method inside this employment service implementation. Okay, so just go inside this, and now here inside this just write public, and I want the list of all the employees. Okay, so I'm just going to press enter here, list employee detail get all employees. Okay, inside this what I'm going to do, I'm going to write list of employee. Okay, I want to get the employees from the employee table, right, employee entity employee table. Okay, so I'm just going to name it as all employee. Okay, all employees, and I am going to go to my employee repository, and here I'm just going to do find all. Okay, so it is going to find all the employees that I have. Okay, then after that I'm just going to return all employees, and I have to convert all the employees to my DTO, right? So here I'm just going to write all employees dot stream. Okay, and dot here I have to write map. I have to map, so whatever the employees that I'm going to get. So okay, so this, let's suppose there is one employee E. Okay, so I am going to give one lambda expression. Okay, here, so I am going to convert this, I'm going to use employee mapper class. Okay, so employee mapper class here, and I am convert this to my uh, employee DTO. Okay, so here I'm just going to use this map dot employee DTO. Okay, so just go here and here write map to employee DTO, and inside this just pass this E. Okay, whatever the information, whatever the employee information that I have. So once this is done, then after that I have to collect, right here collect, and collect us to list. Okay, that's it, that's what we need to do here as part of this. Okay, here I'm just stopping it. I'm going to restart it. So I have restarted my application. Okay, so now if I just go here in this page, let me just post some data. So right now let me just post this one, and let me post developer 2. Okay, let me just post here developer 2 coded 2. Here I'm coded developer 2. Okay, let me send it, let me send some more data here, 3 3 and here 3. Okay, let me send it. So now if I just change it to get. Okay, so let's see here in the employee detail I have given at the rate get mapping, and okay, 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 let's try to run this. Okay, status 200. Okay, and here see we are able to access all the data, right, all the IDs. So if I just refresh this page, just connection connect, and here from this table, if I just run it, so total 3 entries are there, right? So here if I just send one more data using this post, and let me write developer 4, coder 4, and I am coder developer 4. Okay, so right now we have only this 3 data, right? And here also using get you are able to access only 3 IDs, right? So if I send it again using HTTP post request, I send this data 201 created. I go to here this DB, I run the query and see total four columns, okay, 4 rows are there. So now if I just go inside here and do the get request here, click on send, so I will see all the 4 IDs. Okay, so now this is working, correct? So I hope that you guys are clear, okay, how it is working. Okay, this is for get mapping. Same way, now let's suppose I want to get the employee by their ID. Okay, I want to get this particular employee, I want to see the data of employee too. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, so here again let's write one more get mapping here, at the rate get mapping, and inside this what I'm going to do, I'm going to, okay, here like this, and inside this I'm going to write ID. Okay, just like this. Okay, this is what I need to do here, and after that inside this I am going to write public response entity. Okay, and I want one particular employee, right? So here I'm just going to pass employee DTO. Okay, from employee DTO is going to be my return type. Okay, and here get, just create one method. Okay, let's name that as get employee by ID. Okay, get employee by ID. Okay, and here inside this I am just going to pass the employee ID. Okay, I want to see the data for this employee ID, so my ID type is long, right? Data type. Okay, so here I'm just going to pass, let's name it as, name this variable as employee ID. Okay, and here I need to specify the path variable. Okay, at the rate path variable. Okay, and here I just need to give ID. Okay, this is going to be my path variable. Okay, and I just want the details of one particular employee, right? So here I'm just going to write employee DTO, and here I'm just going to write employee by ID, employee by ID. Okay, and after that I just need to interact with my employee service, so go inside employee service, and here I'm just going to call this method. Okay, what method? Get employee by ID. Okay, so I haven't created that yet, so here I'm just going to write get employee by ID. Okay, so I'm going to call this method. Okay, and inside this I have to just pass what I have to pass my employee ID. Okay, this is what I need to pass. So here I'm just going to write employee ID. Okay, then from this I'm just going to simply return new response entity, and here I am just going to pass my employee by ID, and inside this I am just going to write http status dot okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's what we need to do here. Now I have to specify this get employee by ID in my service layer, right? So I have to implement this. Okay, so I'm going here. Okay, so I have created this employee DTO get employee by ID. Just do one thing here, just specify it as public. Okay, public employee DTO get employee by ID, and here long, and here instead of employee ID just pass ID. Now I have to implement this. So where I'm going to implement it, I'm going to implement it in employee service. Okay, so let's just save it, go to employee service implementation. Okay, go here. Here inside this you have to specify your new method. Okay, so here let's name that public employee DTO, and what is the method name? My get employee by id. Okay, this is the method name, right? id. And inside this, what I am passing long and id. Okay, this is what I'm passing, right? So here inside this, we need from employee, we need the data, right? Employee here, give employee, and now just interact with your repository. Okay, employee repository. So here write uh, find by id should be there, find all by id is there, find by id is there, yes it is there, find by id. And inside this find by id, just pass the id that you have, id. Okay, and if it is there, okay, then definitely we are going to access that. Okay, but if it's not there, then we have to throw some error, right? Or as throw. Okay, use this or else throw. Let me do one thing here. Let me create a new package. Let me name that as exception. Okay, so exception, click enter. Okay, so I have created this exception. Now inside this, just create one new class, employee resource not found exception. Okay, so I'm going to create that new java class. Here write employee resource not found exception. Okay, so I'm just going to call this. Okay, so inside this employee resource not found exception, I'm going to specify here at the rate response status, http status dot not found. Okay, so if this is the response status, okay, not found. So inside this, okay, so I'm just going to extend this from runtime exception. Okay, runtime exception public here, just write employee resource not found exception. Okay, I just call this one same constructor. Okay, inside this, just write this message string message. Okay, and I am just going to do here super, and inside this I'm just going to pass message. Okay, that's it. So just write this. Okay, so if status is not found, then I'm just going to get the message. Okay, so that's what we need to do here. So let's just save it and go to this employee service implementation. Okay, here new, and here you can write employee resource not found exception. Okay, just pass this, and inside this you can give the message. Okay, whatever the message that you need. Okay, so here I'm just going to write employee id requested does not exist. Okay, something like that you can give. So here I'm writing employee id requested doesn't exist. Okay, this is what I am writing here. Okay, once this is done, then give semicolon, go here, and from here we have to just return we have to return what, we have to return the employee. But return type is employee dto now, so I have to convert this. Okay, so here I am going to use employee mapper, and here I'm just going to map to employee dto, and inside this I'm just going to pass employee. Okay, that's it. And just to give the semicolon here. Okay, now let me just stop it and rerun it. Okay, so let's see if we can get to the employee by id. Okay, so I have restarted the application. Okay, so now started, right? Now just let me go here and post. So here I'm just going to send the data. Okay, so right now if you see here now, if I just run it, so connect, if I just run it, you will not see any data. The reason is that because I am using in-memory database. Okay, so every time whenever I am restarting my application, data is gone. Okay, since I am using this H2DB, which is nothing but in-memory database, right? It store the data in the cache memory, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to post some data. Okay, again, so I have sent this data, then I have sent this data with some other email. Okay, so my email should be unique every time. Okay, so that is why I'm able to see status 201 created every time. Okay, so if I send this, let's suppose I send this data. Okay, now again I click on send, then I will get error because my email is same. Okay, so right now if I just apply this get method, I will see that all the four rows are there. Okay, id1, id2, id3, id4. Okay, all the data are there, right? So now if I want to get the particular employee id, okay, so here you can see total four rows. Okay, so here if I want to see the data for my id number, let's suppose id 3 I want to see. So what I'm going to do, I have to just write here /3. Okay, that's it, run it. So see, you are seeing the data for id 3. Okay, I want to see, so for id 3 I am developer, coder developer 2 is coming email. Okay, so id 3 I am coder developer 2. Okay, so yeah, it's correct, right? It is working, right? So same way, if you want to see the data for, let's say you want to see the data for id number 2, for id number 2 email is 3 here. Okay, so 2 for 2 we are going to get 3, right? So let me just run it. So for 2 I'm getting 3. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear. Okay, so this is how we can use this. Okay, so this is done. Okay, now again go to this employee controller. Okay, so now we know about post mapping, we know about get mapping, how to get the details, use get mappings for particular id. So this is what we need to do. Okay, so now after that, let's do one put mapping. Okay, how to update the data. So for that, just here write public, okay, response entity. Okay, and inside this give the employee DTO details. Okay, employee DTO, and update employee by id. Okay, so here just write one method, update employee by id. Okay, so inside this also I need to pass the id, right? So here I'm just going to write long and give the employee id. Okay, so I need to pass the id, right? So here I have to define one path variable. In this I'm just going to write id, same like above. Okay, and here since this is my update map update, okay, so here I'm just going to do put mapping, and here I need to specify the id. Okay, so I have to write like this, id. Okay, that's it. So now what we need to do here inside this, so again we need to update few details. Okay, so here go to employee dto. Okay, so here I am just going to write employee by id, employee by id. Okay, and here we need to interact with the employee service, and in this employee service I am going to pass this method. Okay, update employee by id. Okay, inside this I'm just going to pass my employee id. So here I'm going to write employee id. Okay, so this is done. Okay, and here one more thing, uh, path variable now. Okay, so here I should give it like this now, I missed this. Okay, I need to give the employee id, right? And also after getting this employee id, I have to update the few things for that particular employee ID. So I need the complete body of employee DTO as well. Okay, so here I'm just going to get the request body. Okay, so I need the body now, whatever I things need, I need to update. Okay, so here also while creating, okay, while using the post mapping, okay, so I need the request body, okay, complete body of employee DTO with the new details. Okay, so here I'm just going to write employee DTO and employee DTO. Okay, this is done, and now we have to just return it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, simple return new response entity, and here I have to just write which spelling mistake, okay, employee by ID. Okay, so same way we need to do it here, employee by ID I need to write. Okay, employee by ID, and here HTTP status. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now this is done. Now we have to update, now we have to create this method in our service layer. Okay, so if you just click on this red color text, so you see it is saying cannot resolve method in employee service implementation. So we have to create this, right? Create a method, this one. Okay, so just click this. So we have to create, let's first create it in service, then we are going to implement this in service. Okay, so in employee service interface I'm clicking it here. So here just give public employee DTO update employee by ID. So here I'm just going to pass the ID. Okay, this is done. Now I have to implement it. Okay, so here all these methods I have implemented above one. Okay, in my employee service implementation. Okay, here, so see here this icon. So if I just you just extend it, you will see. Okay, so now I have to again implement this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just go to your employee service implementation. Okay, and here just do override, and here write public employee DTO, and here update employee by ID. Okay, so inside this, here you have to write long ID, and here also you need to specify employee DTO, employee DTO. Okay, so we didn't do this here, so I have to write it here as well. Okay, here write employee DTO, employee DTO. Okay, now what is 100? Okay, so just save it and let's go here. Okay, so now once this is done, now we have to specify what we are going to do here inside this. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, uh, from employee entity employee table I'm going to get first the ID. Okay, so here same way, employee repository dot find by ID, pass the ID, and then if it is not there, then you have to do this or else throw, and here what you need to throw, you need to throw this uh, new uh, employee resource not found exception, and inside this you just say that employee ID. Okay, employee ID requested doesn't exist. Okay, just give some message. Okay, here, so once you get to the employee by ID, okay, so here, 1 second, yeah, it's done. There is some issue, let's see that here. uh, Here I'm passing update employee by ID. Why I'm passing just one thing here, I should pass two details here now. I have to pass employee DTO as well. Now our application is running, right? So here, since we are passing two two details here, right, employee ID passing, we are passing employee DTO. Okay, in this method, right, two parameters we are passing, so I have to define that now. Maybe we have missed it, so just update this in employee controller. Okay, So once you get the employee, okay, this employee ID, okay, then after that what you need to do, you have to get the first name and set that. Okay, so here I'm just going to do employee dot set first name. Okay, I'm going to update the details. Okay, I'm going to keep the ID same. Okay, if I get the ID, okay, if ID is there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write employee dot first set first name. Okay, and here from employee DT, okay, whatever the new data I have, from this new data I'm just going to get employee DTO. Okay, employee DTO dot get first name. Okay, same way I have to write employee dot set last name, and here I have to write employee dot get last name. Then same way employee dot set email. Okay, so here I'm just going to write employee DTO dot get email. Okay, this is done. Okay, then I have to save this in my repository, right? So here I'm just going to, where is my repository? My repository is here, right? Employee repository. So here I'm just going to write employee repository dot save, and I'm going to pass the details of my employee. Okay, that's it. And here I have to just return now. So I'm just going to return first. I have data in this employee. Okay, I have to, my return type is employee DTO, so I have to map it to. Okay, I have to do the map. So here I'm just going to call this employee mapper. Okay, so here I have to write employee mapper dot map to employee DTO, and in this I'm just going to pass my employee. That's it. Why I'm getting the detail from employee? I should give the employee DTO now. Here from employee DTO I need to get the first name. From employee DTO I need to get, okay, so let me just rerun this application. Yes, everything else looks correct. Okay, so application started. So let me just do one thing here again. Let me send some data post employee. Okay, so now let's suppose I'm giving developer 30, coder 30, and I'm coder developer 30 at the gmail.com. Okay, so right now if you see here, there is no data right now. Okay, since I restarted my application, there is no data. Okay, so now I just do the send request, put the send request status 201 created, ID first name last name email. Okay, so I will see the data here now. So this is there. Okay, so now I want to remove 30 30 30 from my ID1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I go here, I go to my put request. Here I just give the ID, okay, that I want to update. Okay, and here inside this I'm just going to pass developer, I'm going to pass here coder only, I'm going to pass here this only. Okay, so now I do the send request. Okay, so I sent the request. Now if I go here, it's developer 30, developer 30, coder 30. Okay, now I have a single ID. Okay, only one ID is there. I run it again. So now see 30 is removed everywhere. Okay, so you can also test your get method now. So if I just go here get, okay, so if I click on send request, you will see that this is the result that we are getting. Okay, so we have successfully updated the record. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now only we will discuss about our last mapping for this particular lecture, and then in the next lecture we are going to implement the react part. Okay, so here I'm just going to create one delete mapping. Okay, so if I want to just let's say I want to delete some record. Okay, so then what I need to do. Okay, so we will see that. Okay, so this is also going to be very simple. Okay, just like any other matrix. Okay, so I just want you guys to do the practice. Okay, you can write some other matrix. Okay, same way. Okay, so now just write the delete mapping, and inside this just do the same thing, just pass some ID. Okay, so this is very beginners friendly. Okay, and here inside this public response entity. Okay, now you guys should be aware of this, the way we are writing, right? And here I'm just passing, let's say I'm passing the string. Okay, and here I am calling this method delete employee by ID, and inside this I have to give the path variable definitely every time. Okay, path variable, and inside this path variable I'm going to pass the ID, and here long employee employee id. Why I'm giving string here? Any guess? My return type, okay, this is nothing but my return type. So in the return type I'm just going to give one message that employee record deleted successfully or something like that I want to give. That is why, that's the only reason. So here employee service, okay, dot delete, just call this method delete employee by id. I just need to pass the id and it is going to delete that. Okay, so inside this just pass the employee id, and here in the return new response entity, here I'm just going to pass my string. Okay, so here just write employee record deleted successfully. Okay, and here just write http status dot okay. That's it. Now just we have to define this method. Okay, so here if you click here, go here and just do the implementation. Okay, so it will directly go to the our service interface that we have created. Okay, so in this service interface we need to just write public void delete employee by id, and here I'm just going to pass long, so let's name it as id for simplicity. Okay, that's it. So now this is done. Now we want to see the want to write the implementation of this one. So what I'm going to do, I will directly go to the employee service implementation, and here, okay, here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write at the rate override first, and here I'm going to write public void delete employee by id. Okay, and here I'm just going to pass the id, long id, and inside this simple we have to go to our table, employee table, and here just go to employee repository, and here just to find by id, here just pass your id, and if id is there then definitely we are going to delete that, right? If it's not there we have to just throw that, okay, or else throw, and inside this just write it like this now, new employee not found exception, and here just write no id. That's it. Okay, employee repository dot delete by id, here just pass the id if it is there. That's it. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now I am stopping it. I'm going to rerun this process. Okay, just give it some time. It is starting now. Okay, so it has started. Now just go here. So right now there is no data, not found. Okay, so now first send some data. So I'm going to send some details. Okay, so here I'm passing lecture lecture 2 completed. Okay, okay, this is what I'm passing, lecture 2 completed. Okay, so I send this data. So status 201 created. Go to your db, just run this query, connect it first, because run this query. Okay, so lecture 2 completed. Okay, so this is the data. Now I want to delete it, so just go here, go select delete, and the id is 1, just give this id, send, and now you will see this message, employee record deleted successfully. Okay, this is the message that we are sending through our controller, right? If you go to your controller, so you will see this. Okay, so now this is done. Now if I go back to my db and run this, so see there is no record. Okay, so in this lecture 2, okay, so it's completed now. Okay, so in the employee controller we have implemented, in this video we have implemented get mapping. Okay, get mapping, get mapping by id, put mapping, okay, to update the records, and the delete mapping. Okay, these are the few things that we did. And we have created one this employee resource not found exception class. Okay, then in the employee service we have given the different methods. Okay, get all employee, get employee by id, update employee by id, delete employee by id. This is what we did in the lecture 2. And also we have implemented the code for this all the methods. Okay, we have this is the body part of all the methods. Get all employees, get employee by id, update employee by id, delete employee by id. Okay, so that's it. That's what we did as part of our lecture 2. Okay, so now our code is completed for the Spring Boot backend part. Okay, now we have also created the REST APIs, right? How to insert the data, create the data. Okay, normal CRUD operation, na? Create, read, update, delete. Okay, so we did all right. We have creating the new employee, we are reading, let's get all employees by id, reading part, then updating part. That's simple CRUD, na? Create, read, update, delete. Okay, we are doing everything here, right? So that's what we did as part of lecture 2. Now in the next video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the front end of our application. Okay, I don't want to do all this stuff via Postman. I want to create a simple UI. In that UI I want to create few buttons. Okay, and after clicking these buttons, like I want to create one button to create a new record. Okay, then it will open a new form for me. It is going to create the data. Okay, create a new page. Then I want to create few buttons to update or delete some records. Okay, then after clicking on those buttons, it is going to update the records or delete the records. Okay, I want to read the data, so I will create one new button to get the list of all employees. Then it will show me the list of all employees. Okay, so this is what we are going to do as part of our next lecture, lecture number 3. Okay, so if you guys have any doubts, then please feel free to ask in comment section. Okay, definitely I will answer your questions. Okay, please share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Okay, and meet you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.